Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Collateral Growth podcast. And on this podcast, we talk about tech, products, and every other thing in between. I'm your host, Frances, or you can call me Franny, just sometimes, not every time. And welcome to this episode where I'll be speaking with someone that has passion for tech ecosystem orchestration. And so here with me is Ire. So, Ire, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I I would rather say I'm interested in startup ecosystem orchestration,
Mm-hmm.
not tech ecosystem orchestration. I'll explain why in a bit. But anyways, my name is Ireoluwa Akinrinola. I am a product growth associate at our Grow with him, a growth agency aimed at scaling startups in Africa. I have a passion for startups, right? And that kind of led me into this journey of um, just really understanding how the startup ecosystem works, right? How startups and the various players in the ecosystem interact with each other, right? And how they contribute to the, the improvement of the country's economy, how they contribute to the improvement of the livelihood of the citizens of the country. So, yeah, I think that's majorly everything from my own end.
Okay. Okay. That's nice. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to go right into asking you a bunch of questions just to, get a perspective on some things that have to do with the startup or tech ecosystem orchestration. So explain, like you're explaining to someone that doesn't know anything, what is tech ecosystem orchestration or startup ecosystem orchestration?
Okay, I think we would start from defining what startup ecosystem is, right, before we go into the orchestration, right? So, and this is where I would do the clarification between tech ecosystem and the startup ecosystem, right? So, startup ecosystem is made up of two, um, how will I put it now? Okay, I think I'll start from ecosystem. What's an ecosystem? Familiar to with, or should we say similar to what we have in biology, where you have your food chain, your water cycle, your carbon cycle, and nitrogen cycle, right? For science students in the house, familiar with this, right? The ecosystem is biological ecosystem is an interaction between various elements or bodies in nature, right? That help to sustain livelihood on the face of the earth, right? So the startup ecosystem, likewise, is the interaction of various organizations, right? Putting in place infrastructure for the livelihood of startups in a particular region, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's made up of an intersection of two um, distinct ecosystems of their own. So we have the innovation ecosystem, which can also be called the tech ecosystem. And I think this is where the mistake most people tend to make. They assume the tech ecosystem, innovation ecosystem, is the entirety of the startup ecosystem. It
Oh,
isn't, right? So there's the tech ecosystem or the innovation ecosystem, right, which is based on research, focused on research, technology, and the like. And then we have the entrepreneurship ecosystem or the business world, as some people will call it, right? And that's another ecosystem on its own. So the startup ecosystem is the
okay.
intersection of these two ecosystems, right?
Okay.
And so the reason why I'm saying this because of I need to clarify this because of not all startups, right, would make use of technology, right?
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
various types of innovations. There is the tech innovation, whereby you apparently do it like a technological discovery. There is just you tweaking the business model, right? Of the usual way things has been done, the business logic, right, to a particular way things has been done. Example, we have Netflix and then the box office where people were buying cassettes, right? And then Netflix said that
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to buy cassettes again, you just need to watch on that. Buying
Yeah,
cassettes
stream.
was a type of business, right? But then
Right.
Netflix innovated that business, not necessarily. No, you might not. That's we not even looking at the technology part of it, of you having to use the internet to facilitate that, right? But you can see that there was a change in the business model, right? Example. we have another type of innovation. You have process innovation, right? And you have okay. There's also paradigm shift. So that's like people's mentality to a particular thing just shifts, right? So those kind of innovations sponsor um, development of startups. And so you assuming the
Oh
tech
yeah.
ecosystem is the entirety of the startup ecosystem would be
It's
inaccurate.
not.
So, yeah. So that's having said explained what the startup ecosystem is. Then orchestration comes into play, and um, orchestration is you managing the interaction of these various bodies, right? Like I said, or I didn't mention various bodies. So there are six players or key players in the startup ecosystem. We have the funding organizations, we have support organizations, right? Funding organizations, you have the VCs, you have the angel investors. For the support organizations, you have your incubators, your accelerators, your startup labs, etc. Um, you have service providers, those are the legal people, the accounting firms. Then you have research, right, institutions. Then you have universities. Research institutions help in providing innovation. They research for better ways of how to execute things, right, and make publications, and then companies adopt those publications. In some other climes and some other regions, um, big organizations apparently sponsor innovation. So the research
Okay.
institutions in big organizations, right? Then we have universities. The goal of or the role of universities in startup ecosystem provide talent, right? So you have students from these universities are released upon the point of graduation into the ecosystem to serve as talents for startups, and also they become founders of startups also, right? Then we have the last one, which is not coming to my mind now. Okay, I think the government, yeah, government also has its own has to play where they regulate the
Okay.
innovation, they make policies for in how these various people interact with each other, right? So where the ecosystem orchestrator comes into play
Comes
is
in.
he monitors, or should we say observes, the interactions of these various bodies, right?
Okay.
He observes those things, and then he profiles solution, most likely working with the government, right? Working with the government and directly with the government as a consultant, or just with other private parties as a consultant, right? And then with data from observing the ecosystem, profile solution. Okay, we need to invest more in
Okay.
developing talents, right? Let's say there is a deficit in UI UX talent in a particular region. So we can create scholarships to help develop UI UX talents in that particular region, right? Or let's say,
Okay.
oh, most startups are coming here, but they're not succeeding. Why are they not succeeding? There is no funding. So we can then look for external funding organizations to come and fund startups in this particular region, right? So that's the role of an ecosystem orchestrator. And that's like
Okay.
the entirety of ecosystem orchestration.
Okay. So I have a question now. So what role does the government play in all of this? I know the government is involved, but like how deep is their role and what role does the government play in all of this?
Okay, so like I said, the government's role majorly is in policy making, right, and regulation. Policy making and regulation, those are like the major roles of government in the ecosystem. So, although yes, the government also can, okay, it depends on the type of economy those regions operate in, right? In a socialist economy, where the government apparently does most of economic stuff, right? Yes, the government's role would be more than just policy and regulation, right? Uh, in a capitalist economy, right?
More
Oh,
exciting questions that I know like tech ecosystem related. But thank you so much for shedding more light on this because like it's giving me a better perspective of a role that I can also play in in the ecosystem orchestration. Because I know I've
yeah,
met a lot of people that are into it, and I'm just like, what's going on here? And I feel like we need to have more conversations around it because the more conversations we have on how to solve it, the better the tech ecosystem can actually be for all of us as professionals in the ecosystem, so that it doesn't die down and continues to get better, right? So thank you so much
yeah,
for everything you've been saying. Yeah, it's been really, really insightful because you went like in depth into breaking down so many things, and thank you so much. So next thing I'll be asking you is what's a new thing that you learned last week? Just one new thing you learned last week, because I know we learn every day. Someone told me when I was young that if you're not learning, you're dying. So what's one thing you learned last week?
this I did not expect this. Let me give you the thought. What did I learn last week? Um, okay. Um, wow, 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 wow. This is shocking. Okay, so I learned how to. Wait, is there a particular context?
No,
Life,
random. It's very random.
random, okay, so I
Yeah.
learned how to shop. Right, I
How
learned
to
how to
what?
shop. How to shop.
Shop.
Yeah.
Shop for what?
So other places I'm not the kind of person that really goes shopping, right? Then I work and a colleague went shopping at Renner supermarket. That's
Okay.
RENE. So we got there and I understand it's like I mean what's so unique about shopping? You just go and pick what you want and then go to the
Mm-hmm.
counter and then pay, right? But apparently in the supermarket you have to weigh everything, right? As you buy, especially food stuff. So as you buy, you put it on the weight, it takes it, and then you put the sticker. So I was like, okay,
Interesting.
this is new. So yeah, I learned something new for last week.
I didn't even know that we did that. I didn't know that that was a thing in Lagos or in Nigeria. To
Yeah,
be honest,
yeah, yeah, it is.
interesting. Okay, so next question is three fun things about you.
Okay, three fun things about me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I watch anime.
Ah, nice.
I watch anime. I play the flute and several other musical
Interesting.
instruments. Yeah, not the recorder, mind you, not the
The
recorder.
flute, yeah,
Yeah, the
the
flute.
actual flute.
Yeah, the flute. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I play the flute and some other musical instruments like saxophone, the
Wow.
tuba. I tried the trombone at some point and the trumpet at some point. I also played the clarinet. Yeah. Then what other thing is fun about me? Okay, I sing. Is
True,
that fun?
yeah. You're in classical choir. You were in classical choir.
Yeah, I was in classical choir.
Yes. So yeah, that one's a given. So, okay, that's fine. Thank you. All right. So describe your experience on this podcast in three words.
Three words. Mm, engaging.
Mm-hmm.
Um, engaging. Relaxed. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Engaging,
educative
relaxed,
and
and what?
educative. Educative.
Edu- yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Iri, for your time. This was really, really insightful, and I'm actually going to do more digging and reading into tech ecosystem to even know like
Startup
deeper
ecosystem.
what's
Difference from different
from
from tech
tech
ecosystem.
ecosystem. Lovely. I didn't even know there was a difference until this call.
Not so many people
So
know about the difference. Most people just
yeah. So I mean,
generalize.
this would give people more like education on the difference between startup and tech ecosystem because not
Yeah,
all startups are tech.
yeah.
So yeah. All right. Thank you so much for your time and do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me.
Yeah. All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.